Hey, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Liz, business coach for women of color. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about the components of an effective business plan. So in the last video, we talked about why business plans are so important and some of the common pitfalls that you can find when it comes to creating one. And in today's episode, we're going to break down the different components of a business plan that are more effective because they actually help you to take action versus the theoretical concepts that are often included in business plans that aren't actually helpful when it's time for you to actually do the things on the daily basis to grow your business. So let's go ahead and get started. In the first section, you're going to want to set your intention for the year. So this will be your theme for the year. What are the things that you want to embody in your business for the year? These can be just words for the year. This can be a phrase or maybe an affirmation, something that will be your guiding light, your North Star when you think of the vision that you have for your business. Now, this might seem like it might be an unnecessary step, but I assure you it is very important because this is what will help to make sure that every other aspect of your business is actually in alignment with what you wanted to do in the first place. As you start building your business, you get exposed to different concepts, different strategies, different business gurus who have different ways that they think that you should be growing your business. And it can get really easy to get off track, to end up following a course, a strategy, a program that will end up taking you in a direction that you never really intended to go in. So this will help to make sure that any tweaks that you make to your plan, you can cross-reference it with the initial intention you set for the year or for the next 6 months, just to make sure that you're not doing something that's completely out of alignment. For instance, if one of your intentions for the year is to create more ease in your business, then if you decide that you might want to do a strategy that involves you do postings for 365 days of the year or doing a ton of 30-day challenges, does that reflect ease? Probably not. And so instead of just following it blindly, if you cross-reference whatever strategy you are thinking about or want to take on, if it does not align with what your intention was originally, then that is an opportunity to stop, press pause, and to really reflect on what it is that you're trying to do and why you're trying to do it. And maybe it could be that you are looking to go in a different direction, and that's fine. But you just want to make sure that you're conscious of that choice, that you're empowering yourself, and you have reasons that you love for why you want to make those changes. Another example, if your intention for the year is to work more in flow and you want to be able to experience more of that freedom and open space with your business and let your creativity really take the reins, then trying to create a strategy based off of time blocking or like scheduling your what you do in your business down to the minute, it's probably not going to be a good fit. So you just want to make sure that whatever you're doing, that you're really conscious of your choices. And a great way to make sure you're doing that is by cross-referencing what you're trying to do with the intention you actually set for your business for the next year or 6 months. Next, you're going to want to make sure that you plan your time off. Plan your time off well in advance. And you want to make sure that you're planning for both planned and unplanned time off. Because in business, where it requires a lot, you're doing multiple jobs, especially as a solopreneur, you're doing like 10 different jobs. And you're also stretching new muscles, like new mindset muscles, new skill set muscles that you've never really stretched before. It's going to be a stressful process. And so you want to make sure that you're taking enough time off to support your ability to rest and recharge. Because the more you rest and recharge, the more you can give your full self to your business goals. I personally like to make sure I take a week off from my business every 6 weeks. So that's just something that is planned. I just know that every 6 weeks I'm going to take a week off, even if I have nowhere to go or nothing to do. The point is not to go out and do something fun, I mean, you can do that, and it'd be nice if you have something fun to do. But the main point is to just get into the habit of not working constantly until you hit your goal. When you don't have this in place, your thought process automatically defaults to, I'm just going to keep working and I'll rest until I get my first client. But you don't know how long that could be. It took me 7 months to get my first client. So you want to make sure that you don't associate your ability to rest with being able to hit your income goals. You want those to be very separate things. We are human beings. We need to rest. We need to recharge. It fuels our creative efforts. It helps us to build a healthy relationship with our business. It makes what we're doing so much more sustainable and so much more joyful. So plan that time off in advance and allow it to be flexible. What I've noticed personally is that there are times where I will, start to feel a little bit fatigued, or maybe I feel a little creative burnout. And I'll honestly check my calendar to see, I wonder when my next my next time off is scheduled for. And maybe it might be a week or two away. But the fact that I'm even looking, the fact that I'm even curious about when my next break is, means it's time to take a break. So it now becomes just that unplanned time off, which is fine. So I just push it up a little bit further or take some extra time. Or if I take time, if I'm feeling like towards the end of that time that I need a few more days, I'm still not feeling like that natural pull to be creative and to come on social media and to, talk to my people, then I give myself extra days. Like, that is the beauty of owning your own business. You get to have that flexibility. So listen to yourself, listen to your body, prep for this in advance, and allow for the flexibility of additional time off as needed. Because when you're a solopreneur, you are your biggest business asset. You have to take care of yourself. All right. Next, you want to make sure that you know what your offer is. And when I say offer, I mean, what service you are looking to provide in exchange for money. It's that simple. You just want to make sure that you solidify what that is. It could be one thing. It could honestly be multiple things. That's fine. But you just want to make sure that you have it in writing so that you always know what you're doing. Like, you're tracking what it is that you're offering to people, and then you're able to connect the results of your marketing and sales efforts to those specific offers. So make sure you have that in writing, especially if you're a very creative person as well, and you like to do different things, and you like to do multiple different types of offers, and you're kind of just making stuff up on the fly. There's nothing wrong with that, but just make sure you're tracking it and writing it down so that you know where all of your energy and your effort went to, so that when you see your results at the end of it, you can attach it to what you've actually done. All right, so make sure you just solidify what it is you want to do in exchange for money, and that is your offer. Next up, marketing and sales. I combine it into one bucket, especially as you're just starting out as a solopreneur. Over time, as you grow, it might make sense to expand these into different buckets, but when you're just starting out, you can keep them as one. And marketing is really just how you plan to get visible, how you plan to help new people learn about you and the services that you offer. So this is where you'll start to develop those process goals, where you'll talk about where you want to show up, what platforms you want to show up on, how often you want to show up on those platforms, how you want to show up on those platforms. This is how you really start to track what it is that you're doing, so that you can easily connect the results that you get to what it is that you're doing. So you want this to be super clear. When I was first starting out, I wasn't super clear about this. I knew I wanted to show up on YouTube. I knew I wanted to show up on Instagram. So I was just doing whatever on those platforms just to hopefully get a client in somehow, some way. But what happened was, it felt like I was doing so much and putting in so much effort and not seeing a result. And it felt really unbalanced. And because I wasn't consciously aware of what I was doing or how much I was doing, it really felt like I was putting in all this effort and just failing over and over and over again. But when I finally decided to create a process goal and commit to my first 100 offers, that's when I said to myself, okay, I'm willing to make 100 offers. So to show up on Instagram 100 times talking about my service or writing a post about my service in order to see if it will help me get my first client. And I'm willing to do that because of what my first client means to me. And so that's what I did. And it ended up working out. That doesn't mean that your first process goal will always work out exactly how you anticipated. But if you're not actually writing it down, then you don't actually have anything to tweak or to adjust moving forward. You'll just blame yourself and say you suck. But it's not you. It's not you as a person. There just might be an adjustment that's needed for what you're doing. So when I first started my business, my goal, like every month practically, not every month, but like every year was just hit 6 figures and quit my job. Like that was just the goal, because that's what the internet, the social media highlight reel had shown me. Like, yo, you hit 6 figures in 6 months and look at the amazing results I had and the amazing results my clients have. You can have this too. I didn't know that was bullshit at the time. So that was the first benchmark I had in my brain. It wasn't until I committed to my first 100 offers and saw, okay, this more realistically will get me like 1 or 2 clients. And that's when I started to adjust from there and started playing around and experimenting with my reach, with different ways to show up on the platform, different ways to think about, what it was that I was doing. It just gave me more options, more possibilities versus just keeping me at a standstill and stuck, because I just see that the only thing that I'm doing isn't working and I don't know what else to do. All right. So marketing. Start creating your process goals. And then in terms of sales is really the pathway that gets a potential client to becoming a current client. That's really what that is. Just sales is just that transition. And so it could be that you do sales calls. And so maybe that is how you plan to handle that transition from prospective client to current client, a sales call. Or if you're not doing sales call, maybe it's just a sales page. Whatever that last step is right before someone pays you, you want to make sure that you understand what it is that you're going to do. And it's important that you know what it is you're going to do, because the skill set will slightly differ based on what it is that you're trying to do. If you want to do sales calls, then you're really going to want to focus your energies on making sure that you have really impactful sales call conversations. And impactful sales call conversations come from really powerful and impactful coaching skills, listening skills. And because you're listening to me, I'm assuming you are a person of integrity and values. And so really just making sure that you're doing these things in alignment with what feels good to you and doesn't feel sleazy. And if you're doing sales pages, then that's going to be more storytelling, more copywriting skills. So they are connected. They are deeply connected. Actually, it's pretty interesting, but they are slightly different. And so you just want to make sure that whatever it is you want to do, that you're just at least aware of it, so that if you get results you don't like in the future, you can always just go back to that and experiment with ways to pivot that area. Okay. The next section is operations and client experience. So these are the processes, systems, tech, tools, whatever that help you to fulfill every part of this business plan. So what do you need in place to be able to create your content for social media? What do you need in place to be able to have sales calls with prospective clients? What do you need to have in place to then fulfill the service that you want to provide with these clients? The different aspects of that. So you really want to map out that roadmap of every aspect of your business plan. So looking at what you're doing for your marketing through those process goals, look at what you want to do for your sales, look at your offer, that service that you're providing. What are the steps in the journey from when a client first starts with you and onboards to when they offboard. You want to make sure that you have the right systems, processes, tech tools in place that work for you and your goals, and also help to improve the experience for your clients. This is another section that can break off into multiple different sections as you gain more clients and as you grow. But for now, as a solopreneur, it's fine to keep it all in one bucket. And then last, but certainly not least, financial management. So business is not all about marketing and sales. That's what the business gurus like to make you think, but that's not the case. It is not all about marketing and sales. It is also strongly about financial management, because you can, hit 6 figures in 6 months, and that's super cool unless you don't realize that your operating expenses are way higher than what they really should be. And so therefore your profits are super low and you can't live off of them because, oh yeah, you forgot to pay your taxes. Important stuff. So you just want to make sure that you are aware of this aspect of financial management. And this can even be a very complicated and tricky topic, because in this capitalist system, so many of us deal with some aspect of money trauma. And so it can be really difficult to do something that a lot of the financial gurus talk about that just seems so simple. Things like saving, things like, being mindful of how much you're spending. It sounds super simple in theory, like, yeah, eat your vegetables and fruits every day. Like, yeah, we get it. But for some of us, it can be really hard to do that depending on what type of money trauma we have, what type of money habits we've learned growing up, and from what we've seen from our parents and what society wants from us and what our friends say. And, it can be a very complicated subject. So I always encourage people to go ahead and get whatever type of support you need so that you can feel more in control of your resources and just feel more empowered. Because when you feel empowered with money, then you feel empowered in your spending and your investing and your giving. So definitely if the financial aspect of a business is something that gives you difficulty, definitely seek support with that, because that's the point of the business really, is to make impact, but the type of impact that can also sustain you and your needs and your family and, whatever else you wanted it for. If you just bring in all this money, but then it doesn't go anywhere useful or helpful for you, then what's the point, right? So definitely I encourage you to get support in that arena. It's definitely different from like business, like managing the business. Like you can be great at managing the different aspects of your business and know business inside and out and still be terrible with money. So if you need that support, I highly encourage you to go seek it out. So with financial management, and I am not a financial advisor, I'm not a tax advisor, I'm not any of those experts. I'm just a rando on the internet. Okay. But what I do personally is when I have my financial goal for maybe the next 6 months or the year, I'll write that down in the business plan. And then I also use I think it's called the 50-30-20 method. It might have a different name, but essentially what I do is 50% of the revenue that comes in, I reserve that for myself as just money for whatever I intend to use it for. 20% of the money that comes in as revenue, that is intended to go towards business expenses. So depending on what's going on in that month or that year, maybe your expenses are a little bit lower, maybe they're a little bit higher. So it's not definitely a perfect black or white science. It's just a general guideline that I try to follow. And then I generally try to save 30% of the revenue that's coming in for taxes. So again, seek your tax advisors and all of that. Just to make sure that, you're doing whatever is unique and right for your specific situation. I just like to make sure I have some money set aside for that, just so that come tax time, it's not a surprise. And then depending on how much you make in a particular quarter, you do have to pay your taxes earlier and more frequently throughout the year than you do as a W-2 employee. But again, not a tax advisor, not a tax expert of any way, shape, or form. So make sure you do your research and seek help from a professional on that one. But it's never a bad idea to at least start saving and putting a bucket of money away for these things. So those are the components of an effective, impactful business plan. If you're looking for help creating yours to make sure you hit all these elements and do it in a way that is unique to you and your unique business DNA, then sign up for a one-on-one strategy session, Create Your Business Plan. We will work together 2 hours and you will leave with a fully fleshed out business plan customized to you that you are excited to take action on. You can use the link in the description box below to sign up for a session. If you have any questions about anything in this video, feel free to drop them in the comments below or come find me on Instagram, shoot me a DM. I'd love to hear from you to know if this was helpful and to answer any questions you might have about this process or about my one-on-one strategy sessions. All right, take care.